Hi, Sean Huckster here, and today I'm going to talk about another miniature world toy. This will be the Star Wars Box Busters, and as you can see, there's just a bunch of shipping crates, which is kind of fun. And there are these cards, which we'll get to in a second. Now, this comprises an actual game. So these are game boards, and they have a little layout on them that you can place these on, and then there are rules, and each one comes with some play pieces, and I have never once played the game, and I'm not even interested in it. The reason I bought these is because these are tiny miniature worlds you can open up and live within. Even though there's no interactivity in the sets themselves, or very little, I should say. There's some in the large one, but not much. It's mostly an excuse for a game, but I love these things because they are encapsulated miniature worlds, which is one of my favorite things when it comes to toys. So let's start. We're going to push these aside and open one up. This is, first of all, you'll notice it's definitely Star Wars. It's got these little crate details that show things like the panels you see in a normal Star Wars thing, Star Wars set or whatever. And then you have the logo. The logo is here, and this is how this works. This is, you push the logo, and it opens up. Now you get this T-shape because that's what happens when you deconstruct a cube. So this one is the Battle of Yavin. Let's grab the thing here. So this is the Battle of Yavin, which, as you know, is where the Imperials take on the Ewoks. So what do we have here? We have, this is the Rebel base, which is famous for having Han Solo stand outside. It's obviously shrunken down to make room. Here you have some Ewoks and some trebuchets or catapults. And over here you just have some rock details, which is, actually these are trees, I'm sorry, not rocks. So these are the trees that the battles take place in. And then you have these rocks, which are rocks. And then an Imperial speeder here, a speeder bike, and then an AT-ST walker. Now, of course, the only thing that moves here is this, but that's only because it's the trigger to open the box. Nothing functions or moves, but just look. You have this entire encapsulated world and this entire battle setting. And I absolutely adore this. So if you open up the game board, this is intended to sit right here. And then you play the game around it, and you have rules and other things here. But that, again, is not why I'm here. I'm going to put that aside for a moment and place him right here. Let's open up the second one. Let's pick one of the gray ones, because there are two gray ones that are absolutely identical, but they are not identical. So you open this up by pushing the Star Wars logo. And which one do we get? I don't know yet. Okay. So this is clearly from Rebels. And that would be... let's see, the Rebels speeder bike chase is what this is. So here you have a set of Rebel from the TV series Rebels. You have the large Imperial headquarters here. You've got speeder bikes here, and then you've got two of the smaller walkers that are featured in the TV series Rebels. By the way, if you haven't watched Rebels, oh my God, watch Rebels. It is probably some of the best Star Wars ever made, other than the original 3 movies. That's just my opinion. Anyway, so here you have Zeb and Galen. Oh, what's his name? I forget. It's been a while. Anyway, they are being chased on speeders by 2 troopers. I don't think they're stormtroopers yet, but they're troopers. And you have a fairly decent detailed world in there, and I just absolutely love it. So I'm going to put that down next to here. Push that aside. And then let's pick the same gray one, even though I know it's different. It's not the same gray. Let's push the Star Wars logo, and what do we have? Here we have the Death Star scene. So we have the Death Star attack, and let's see, that will be, I don't know if I have the card for that one. Anyway, so what we have here is clearly the original Star Wars run on the Death Star. You have a TIE fighter here, and I don't know why, but this is a standard TIE fighter. I would imagine, if I was designing this, that would be Darth Vader's TIE fighter. But let's not nitpick on that. So what we have here is 2 turret guns aimed towards the X-Wing in the middle. You've got an X-Wing flying along the trench, obviously. And the best part, I think, is there's the exhaust port that Luke nails. That Luke manages to get a torpedo through like he was pummeling womp rats back at home. And the detail, again, is quite nice. It's beautiful. I love it. And again, it's just an imaginary world that you can live inside for a few moments. And, of course, if you wanted to, you could play the game. That's another one. Let's take a different one. Let's do this beige one. So, again, the details are exactly the same. It's just the colors that are different. Let's give myself a little space here and open up this one. This is the Tusken Raider attack. So in the Tusken Raider attack, you remember in the first movie, Luke goes out to find R2, who has snuck away, and he grabs C-3PO, takes the speeder out, and finds R2 before Uncle Owen finds out in the morning and gets angry that Luke allowed this to happen in the first place instead of getting the droids ready for work. So let's push that aside. And inside here you have Tatooine. And this is beautiful. I absolutely love this. You've got the dunes of Tatooine. It's very much a beige desert setting. And what I love is you have the Krayt Dragon here, which is the infamous the skeleton that stretches along the dunes as R2 and C-3PO are walking along in the desert. But then you also have these two Tusken Raiders, who, as we know, attack Luke while he's searching for R2-D2. And of course, back here you have a Bantha being ridden by another Tusken Raider. But the key piece here, of course, is Uncle Owen's speeder that Luke is driving. And here you have Luke sitting in there, and it's hard to see here, but while R2 is nowhere to be found, C-3PO is actually sitting behind, next to the engine. I'm a bit surprised they didn't put R2 somewhere, like maybe in behind the dragon or something, but they didn't. Anyway, I do love this. Again, you can live within the world of Star Wars, just briefly living on Tatooine for a moment, just by having this set handy. I'll put him here to make some room. Let's go for the last gray one. This is a little lighter gray than the others. And let's find out what's in it when we open up the Star Wars button. Aha! This will be the Battle of Hoth, which is quite nice. Everyone loves Hoth because it's certainly the opening scene of one of the best, let's face it, the best Star Wars movie ever, and that was The Empire Strikes Back. And what we end up with is the Hoth snow scene. And obviously the key of the piece is these two wonderful AT-AT walkers, the AT all-terrain attack transport, sitting on the spring base again. Now, what is really unusual is this oversized probe droid. This is actually a down view of a top-down view of the probe droid, even though it's really compressed for space so that they could fold all in, and some footprints leading away from it. And then you have the Rebel Snowspeeder, and two Rebel guns, which are, being used to take down the AT-ATs if possible. And then in the back, the goal, the goal of the AT-ATs, the power generator, the shield generator, sorry. And again, you're living in a beautiful Star Wars world, and your imagination can run free. And by the way, if you have some micro machines, you can actually play inside here if you want. The scale won't matter. And that's that one. Moving on to the last one. I probably should have left the best for last, which I think is the Hoth scene. But anyway, here we go. And that is the Battle of Naboo. The Battle of Naboo is, as you know, the battle in The Phantom Menace, in which we meet Jar Jar Binks. So we have the creature here with the weapon on top. And here you have here you have some Naboo fighters, or some Gungan fighters astride their beasts. Then you have all of these attack droids here, with the more powerful attack droids in the center. Two ranks of these. And of course the troop transport that carries these droids into place and deploys them. And two of these tanks, which, if you were a collector of Star Wars, you probably have various versions of these. I certainly have the Galoob micro machines of this one, that one. I have the Star Wars Micro Galaxy Squad version of this as well. And of course, I have many of the droids in various forms, including Lego. And that, of course, is the Battle of Naboo. So that's very cool. I like this set, mostly just because I love looking at miniature worlds and just letting my imagination run free. But that's not all. I'm going to move all these aside to make room for the elephant in the room, which is the big one. And that is this big crate right here. I'm going to have lots of room. This will be, spoiler, the Death Star battle. And this, of course, is, again, this opens up for a much larger play field, and you'll see why in a minute. Clearly, this is a big box. Same detail all around, including, yep, there it is, the Star Wars logo. Let's open it. All right. So what we have here, and I'll put a little die in here because it fits. The game pieces don't fit in any of the other ones, so I left it out. But this pops open when you open it up, supposedly. And there are some game pieces in here. And this is a spring-loaded system that knocks the Death Star away. So you basically win the Death Star. You blow up the Death Star. But for now, let's just leave that closed. Let's face it so that the radar dish is the dish is out front. Yeah, so I think you have to like snap this down before you can close it properly. And these pieces inside don't let me close it well anyway. But anyway, there is a proper way to close this. I don't know which it is. So for now, just leave it like it is. And what other details do you have? Well, you have an X-Wing, much like you did in the trench fight. And this is sitting on the spring. And of course, laser blasts, which are printed and painted on. And you have 2 TIE fighters here, your standard TIE fighter. And you got a Y-Wing. Of course, you know, Y-Wings were influential in the battle. And of course, you have the Millennium Falcon. As, you know, he comes in to rescue Luke from Darth Vader, who is over here. Now, finally, this is the TIE fighter I thought should have been in the trench scene. Because, you know, at the very end, you're down to Darth Vader and Luke. So, surprising. But anyway, they did leave it for this set, which is kind of nice. And that is all I have to say about the Star Wars Box Busters, except that one day maybe I'll learn how to play the game. And these are the game pieces that come with all the sets, all the various sets. You can see by color, they probably were color-coded to the various sets. And these are like little explosions and tokens and dice. That's really all that came with it. Again, I've never played it, but I do appreciate that these are miniature worlds and that's my jam. So for now, until I do more miniature world playsets, which I'll be doing very soon, including the Star Wars Tiny Heads, that's me, Sean Huckster, signing off. And I really hope you enjoyed this as much as I did, or as much as I did like opening them up again and seeing them and living within those worlds. I really hope you appreciate it as much as I do. If you do, leave me some comments, like it, whatever. No pressure on any of that. Just enjoy as I do. Sean Huckster out. Bye-bye.